Let's go now to Abu Dhabi, where I'm delighted to be joined by the CEO of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume. That's Binance's Richard Teng. Richard, thank you so much for making time for us. We've seen Donald Trump picking pretty crypto-friendly picks in the form of his AI czar and in the form of his SEC chair. Where does that likely change in the regulatory stance in the US leave you at Binance?
Well, I do think that if you look at 2024, it's a landmark year, right? So if you tell people before 2024, Bitcoin will hit 100,000, there'll be ETF being approved for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and several others. And as well as institutions, I mean, the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, has gone from a skeptic to a believer. I think people will not believe it. But come to the end of 2024, all those have come true. We have now a very crypto-friendly president in the States and extremely smart strategy appointing an AI and crypto czar on that front, because this too represents the most innovative technology for the future, and countries will do extremely well. I mean, Abu Dhabi this week, the capital of capital, again, Abu Dhabi and UAE has been very foresightful in that front to start investing AI, blockchain, to move those very early on. So we are seeing the results of all those deployment in Abu Dhabi and UAE now. So countries will do very, very, very well to continue to focus on these two technology. And we will continue to focus on serving our fast expanding user base. We're close to 250 million users globally now, 70 million onboarded this year alone. So we are very excited with the journey ahead.
But of course, Binance is under monitorship by the US DOJ and the US Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Would you be looking to press the Trump administration to shorten or terminate the monitorships, given the president-elect's kind of preference, as we say, for looser crypto regulation?
Well, I mean, any of those discussion, I think, is new. I believe that compliance is the way to go, right? So Binance has always been a user-first organization. But going forward, given that regulations is going to be much clearer throughout the world, we have the ability to invest very heavily in compliance space. I want to make compliance a competitive advantage for ourselves, right? So last year alone, we invested $213 million just on our compliance program, which is a more than 30% increase compared to before, and this year it go up even more. We're the most licensed and regulated exchange globally now. We have more than 20 different jurisdictions that license and regulate us. More recently in exciting places like India and Argentina. So we are working with global policymakers, lawmakers to really support the crypto journey, to support the crypto deployment. And we continue to work very closely with US monitors on that front to continue to see whether there are areas that we can enhance the program further. I think it's a good competitive advantage. We are able to invest in places that our competitors are not being able to invest in.
Well, yeah, are you looking to re-enter that US market then more forcefully? And if they introduce a stablecoin framework, would you be reviving Binance USD, BUSD, or would you be launching a similar token perhaps?
Well, globally, we are supporting crypto adoption, so on different fronts, right? So stablecoins, other innovation in this space, cross-border payment, et cetera, et cetera. Whether we re-enter the US market, I think there's a premature discussion. As of now, we are focusing on our global deployment. We are growing very, very quickly. And we're very happy with the progress of what we are seeing. I think this year alone, if you look at the net inflows into Binance, it crosses more than 20 billion, right? If you put our net inflows versus the 10 largest exchange, the next 10 largest exchange put together, we are 40% much more than the 10 largest exchange put together. So you can see the phenomenal growth. We have seen a lot of new institutions being onboarded. And with the US going to announce a Bitcoin strategic reserve and Brazil considering it, I do believe that many other countries around the world will start to deploy on that front. So it's not only the countries, it's the sovereign wealth funds, institutions, foundations, endowments, high net worth individuals. So they're going to start allocating this space. So the future is extremely bright.
Well, so you've been in post for just over a year now, Richard. I wonder what you would say are the biggest changes you've implemented in that time. And as you look ahead, are you planning to add more independent advisors to your board, for example?
Well, we have a strong board of directors today. We have board of directors of 7, 3 independent directors. We have an independent chairman. So we are in a very good place in terms of corporate structure. I think we have really moved from a founder, CEO-led company to a board-led company. So the senior management of the company work very closely with the board of directors to chart the strategy and the deployment of the company going forward, right? And we are continuing to move from strength to strength. We have not only focus on our investors, our users, we invest a lot into security, and I mentioned compliance, and all those are key areas. I mean, this year alone, you see plenty of exchanges being hacked around the world, right? So in Japan, WazirX in India, Indodex in Indonesia, BTC Turk, and the list goes on. So this is an area that we focus a lot of attention to. I mean, we are the exchange that set aside more than 1 billion just to compensate users just in the event of untoward event of a security hack, right, on that front in the form of SAFU fund. So we go beyond what many regulators prescribe in terms of user protection and helping our users detect fraud and scams on that front, helping them avoid 2.4 billion in terms of potential losses just for the first half of this year. So these are areas that we paid a lot of attention to, and we're very proud of all those things that we've done.
Just finally, Richard, as you mentioned, you're there at Abu Dhabi Finance Week. I wonder what opportunities you see specifically in the Middle East region.
Well, it's huge. So just in UAE alone, crypto adoption is close to 40%. I think the same theme is repeated throughout the Middle East, right? So Abu Dhabi was, when I was CEO at Abu Dhabi Global Market, we were one of the first in the world to introduce a crypto regulatory framework to govern this sector in 2018, right? So we are quite ahead of the game then. And you can see Abu Dhabi continue to grow by leaps and bounds on the blockchain, crypto, as well as the AI space, right? So I think that same theme is repeated throughout the Middle East, in Bahrain, in Dubai, and the rest of Middle East, very young demographics, tech savvy, people understand crypto. So, and there are many parts of Middle East, South Africa region where financial inclusion is low, which makes where crypto becomes the only means that people can make payments, can get access to the bank sort of payment system. They can have a store of wealth in the form of stable coins or crypto, and they're much better off. I traveled the region quite extensively, and people come up to thank me in the last few years going through hyperinflationary situation where their domestic fiat currency depreciated sharply. Their family well-being is preserved by holding on to crypto and stable coins, right? So I have many of these stories repeated throughout the Middle East and throughout the world when I visit many of these countries.
Okay, thank you so much. Richard Teng, CEO of Binance. Lovely to have you with us on the programme from Abu Dhabi Finance Week.